George Clooney and Brad Pitt's new movie Wolves is on Apple TV Plus September 27th.
That's where I want you to be now.
So if you want to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt, go to Apple TV Plus.
You got to start the story there.
Or if you want to see Brad Pitt and George Clooney, go to Apple TV Plus.
I am enjoying the show.
And if you want to see their new movie Wolves,
you can't do it, I'm going to help you out. I can do it. So do it.
Definitely go to Apple TV Plus.
Admit it, it's cool. Okay, fine, it was very cool.
Wolves, streaming September 27th on Apple TV Plus. Rated R.
Good job with the shot, and the Slough Jets have taken the lead on the power play. With 23 runs with the shot for a goal. No need for the save from Lordo, and Campbell finds himself in, and it is 3-1 to the Chelsea Chieftains.
Hello and welcome to Zero Pucks Given, the UK Ice Hockey Podcast. We're in partnership with the Hockey Art Co. Hockey clothing for hockey people, worn by the best and hated by the rest. Listeners to Zero Pucks Given get a 10% discount off everything site-wide at hockeyartclothing.co.uk. Just use the code ZP10. We are also in partnership with Manscaped, male grooming products, redefining the gentleman all over the world. Top of the range male grooming products that you can get 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code ZeroPucks20. We are also on the Sports Social Podcast Network, the largest sport podcast network in Europe, boasting over 500 podcasts from over 20 different sports, including fantasy sports. So you can check out so much stuff to listen to over there. Right then, welcome along to episode 116. This is our interview episode for this week. And this week, we are catching up with someone who's spent a lot of time playing in this league for one club, took a jump this year, and he's gone up to Slough Jets from the Solent Devils. He's had a really, really good start. They've not conceded a goal yet in the league. He's got on the score sheet once, only once. That'll come a little bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex Cole. Slough Jets, alternate captain, D-man, former Solent Devils captain, Alex Cole. How you doing this evening, mate?
I'm very well. How are you?
I am incredibly well. What a start you've had at Slough Jets this season. I mean, I think that really competitive pre-season you guys had has just set you on the way to 3 wins from 3, 22 goals scored, none conceded, and you've got on the score sheet yourself as well.
Yeah, that actually wasn't me that scored. Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I did score. I did score. Yeah, the second game, my third game, that wasn't me. Got called wrong, but yes, nuts.
Against Solent, that wasn't you that got the last goal.
No, unfortunately. But yeah, no. It's been. I don't know if there's ever been a team that's done 3 shutouts in a row off the bat. I'm not sure.
I'll have to have a look back into it. I'm sure Joe Scutts at NIHL Stats might be able to jump on that quicker than me, but it's certainly an impressive start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did sit there when Smits announced the pre-season friendlies, and I thought to myself, why on earth are we playing Bristol twice and you know the former league champs for the last God knows how many years? It didn't make sense to me because I thought surely we want to keep them away, as in Streatham. And Smith said we want to challenge ourselves, and you know it's certainly not going to get any harder than those games. And that's when it sort of clicked in my head, and I thought, yeah, you're right, because sometimes you can play pre-season friendlies and play, you know, let's just say teams that aren't as competitive, and you can pick up bad habits. Whereas we were right in the deep end. And I think that definitely fired us up and got us going for the start of the season. So he's very clever. He knows what he's doing. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, the first sort of lot, as you said, the double header against Bristol, you actually took the win in Bristol. God, the room must have been rocking after that.
That was madness. We'd trained twice, so obviously an hour ago. Obviously went up there. And turn them over in their barn, and yeah, that was a phenomenal game. I finished that game and had to shoot straight off to obviously go and get married. I was there straight to the airport. Yeah, it was mental. It was mental. It was and obviously that was the first game I played with them as well. So right up here, which was good. So yeah, no.
Yeah, and then as you say, you weren't part of the roster for the Sunday, which Bristol sort of returned the favour to Slough. Yeah, because you went off to, was it Santorini?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like being a husband now? Then I've been one for nearly 20 years. So it's,
Have you? I've joined your club. Yeah. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. We haven't actually argued yet, so I think that's a positive. I'm not sure if that's normal when you get married or not. But yeah, no, it's good.
I don't know, mate. You're 3 weeks in. I wouldn't start counting chickens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's nice not having to organise wedding stuff every evening. But yeah, no, it's brilliant now. And obviously now all my focus is on work and hockey, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's between obviously when Chico was on, your brother, the two of you are so personally successful with your own businesses and what you're doing that you're finding the time to play hockey to the level that you guys play. It must just be absolutely incredible, let alone keeping wives happy.
I know. It is hard. To be honest with you, though, I think I'd be a bit lost without hockey because it just sort of, it gives me a purpose, gives me something to keep channeled into. Obviously, I'm ultra competitive anyway, but it's just, I mean, like my friends, they just every weekend just out drinking. It's just, what do you do? Finish your week, have some beers, have some more beers Saturday, and then Sunday, you just mong about, and then you're back to work, aren't you? So for me, it's good because when I start season, like now, I don't drink now till Christmas, so it's good for me as well. It gives your body a break, gets you right tuned in. And I'm enjoying it.
So, I mean, as you say, that I know that competitive streak you've got in you. When we spoke very briefly at Ali Pally before the playoff final, you were almost glazed. You were so in the zone, and unfortunately, it was just an opening 60 seconds that put you guys on the back foot again.
I mean, they dominated. Fair play to Lackey and the team, because that was a fantastic performance. We were just burnt out, I think, as well. Not to take anything away from them on that night, because that night was their night. And the Bartlett brothers, when they're on form, which they are 99% of the time, they just need one opportunity, don't they? So I was convinced in my head we that was our time. It was meant to be. Everything was falling in place, but we had a super competitive game with Streatham, wasn't it? Was it Streatham?
Yeah. I mean, we said in commentary during the game, I've said since that, and as Muzzle has said afterwards, you beat them at least once every year, and it hadn't happened in the league so far. So I think you were all convinced it was going to be that Saturday, but I put it down to mental fatigue, because everything they tried, you guys had an answer for it, and you had to be on the ball for 60 minutes.
Yeah. I felt it in the room in the morning of the final. The team was down, deflated. I think it was just run out of energy, because it's not very often, obviously, you turn straight over. So that happened, and then I think it was almost like the realisation. It's like, oh, Jesus, right.
Got to go and do it again.
We've got to do this again. And although I'm not sure the record with Chelmsford, but we would never go to Chelmsford when I was playing there, or they come to us and be worried about losing the game. It was always, we're here to win. So maybe it was just a bit of complacency that we thought, okay, we've done Streatham and we'll be all right. But they were, Lackey since told me of a few things that they picked up on, obviously watching us in the semis, and that's fair play. And that's the whole point of having a coach, isn't it? And a team that can react and look at weaknesses within a setup. So yeah, fair play to them. Yeah,
I mean, it was entertaining for everybody that was there. And was it part of the reason that you left Solent? Was it to sort of push yourself on to win trophies? Because we all know that Slough were in the ascendancy. They come up with sort of disciplinary problems because they didn't have players like yourself and Brando.
Yeah, I mean, it was I won't get too deep into it. There was a lot of reasons in the end, but it wasn't. I'd never thought I was going to leave Solent, and it was never at any point did I think, "Oh, is this the time?" I just got to the end of the season, and I just started to reevaluate over the summer, and just think, what am I doing? I've played for Solent for 15 years. It's a phenomenal club. It's gone from zero to obviously what it is now. But we're always nearly, well, I say they were nearly always there. Just when we've been a runner-up in the league, 4 times, is it 4 or 5 times? Runners up the playoffs, I think, is it twice, 3 times? I just thought I'm 33 years old. I'm getting older now. Although I'm very fortunate, my body doesn't feel older, and I'm not, an old 33. But I thought, how many more years do I do this, and then get to the point that something has to change. Sometimes things in life do change, don't they? And then I think, do you know what? I've never won that league, never won the playoffs. So I just, I come up with some suggestions and what we can do, and wasn't right for the club at the time. I just thought, I've got to do something for me. I've captained that team for, was it 9 years, 10 years? I just thought, this is my time to put myself first. I want to develop more in other areas, because the hardest part about it is, as a captain, you're looked at as you should know it all, and you're the role model. And yeah, I can be a role model in many areas, but ice hockey, I was never gifted at, and I've always had to work hard for it. And I just wanted to be coached. I wanted someone to sit there and try and develop me in areas that I want to work in, rather than, we haven't got the time to do that because we've got to worry about being a captain or all the other roles that come with it. So it's been a good move for me, because I needed a little shake up as well. I think sometimes, if the easy way to put it is, if you was in the same job for 15 years, you're turning up, aren't you? And nothing changes really. You're doing the same role week in, week out with the same.
Yeah. Did you feel that change then? Obviously, your brother not being in the dressing room for the final year.
No, because Solent's, it's a weird one. It's a very strange setup down there. Is, and you can lose players and somehow find a way to they always find a way to sort of keep everything alive, and that was a big part of my role there. But Aaron's a great goalie, Rory, great goalie. So, this weekend when we played him, Rory had a stonking game. I don't think Aaron did anything wrong in the first part, but we just capitalised quick. But you just they've got good players there. They just need more depth of good players. So, and a bit more experience on the side. But yeah, it's done now, and I'm glad I am where I am. Really happy. And I needed that refocus to get my brain back into, making sure you're on time, and making sure I'm eating right, and not having 1 or 2 beers on the Friday night, and all those little things that slipped slightly. I just needed to, because Slough setup is phenomenal. And it's one that, I'll be honest with you, for the past 4 seasons, although we never seem to have issues playing Slough, we seem to always get the job done. If I remember, I think they turned us over once a season or something. But they had so much energy. They were a nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
Always on your shoulders, hit. Taking away your passing lane, just ferocious, never stopping. No fear factor. And that's what I was impressed by. I just thought, if that team can just have the addition of a few, more experienced players, that also I can then feed off of them in other areas as well, skill set and work rate, and what a team they'll have. And that was the main reason behind doing what I did.
Yeah. And you say you only had sort of like 1 or 2 training sessions before that first pre-season friendly. Did it just gel really quickly then when you joined the room? Yeah,
that's what's strange. Obviously, I haven't been to another dressing room, so that was a weird feeling. I'll be honest, I was driving up there thinking, before the first session, have I done the right thing? Because I just knew what I was doing there, so I didn't just turn up. I know where my stall is. I walk in, tap everyone's hands, boysies. Hey. I know their faces. I don't know them as a group. Luckily, we did a few things pre-season which helped. But it's always awkward, isn't it, when you've got 25 blokes that have always been together, and then 4 blokes walk into the mix. But I'll never forget that first training. The first, obviously, the trainings at Solent, I could tell you what we do every single drill, and it's always been set. It's very robotic. And with the first drill, the Smiths drill, I had to sit there for 5 minutes and work out what was going on, because I was like just mental. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something, shake the brain up, think about what I'm doing rather than just going through emotions. So, yeah, it was it was an interesting training session. I remember me and Brando and Ben looking at each other going, what is going on here? What is going on here? And I think we all messed the drill up at least once. So, yeah. No, but they've been very friendly, very, very welcome. The whole club has, to be fair. I certainly don't feel like I'm an outcast there. So it's
and as you say, a thoroughly professional setup they've got going there. Obviously sharing the rink with the National League side as well. It's got that kind of upper level feel to it. Has your dressing room antics after a win made the trip with you?
So this is one of the things that you just pick up things in certain teams, and they've got their own song that they sing that I've now just about learned the words to. It's similar in it's a song into a song.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought I'm not going to come here and start changing things. I'm just going to blend in and then do my little additions as I do as and when. But it was something I considered, and I just thought, no, it's not. There's 25 blokes here that like doing what they do, so let's just mix in with them. And to be fair, it's actually quite a funny song. I won't be able to sing it on here because it's not very PG, but it's a good one. It's a very good one.
There's certainly a mixture of music going on in that Slough room as well. I know a lot of the younger guys are into this sort of new country wave and a lot of the old country stuff as well. So I know there's a lot of tunes that go down in that room.
Yeah, there's not really one music man at Solent. It was just one playlist. And you almost knew what time you were going on the ice because the same song will come on. You go, right, okay, we've probably got about 3 or 4 minutes here if the tunes are about right.
Yeah.
But there it's just, a complete mixed bag. I'm just easy though. I can, to be honest with you, I used to hate country music. Hate it. And I've listened to it for so long now that I don't mind it. I can just listen to it now. So, yeah, it's good.
So, as you say, not having that responsibility as being the full captain, you have been made an alternate captain at Slough. Are you now feeling that you've still got the little bit of responsibility that your experience kind of deserves, but that you can have that little step back and, as you say, do things a little bit more for you?
Yeah, because it's always hard, isn't it? If someone new comes into your team and starts trying to take over with, their previous experience, and I like having a role, and I'm proud to have a role. Something is a big part of me. And anything that I do, I don't want to ever sit at the bottom. So, I hope that the new kids and obviously the people within see that I do the right things on and off the ice, and I think that's the whole point of being in that role. Yeah. For me as well, as being a captain, there's not much differences, but there's still a lot more that you have to be thinking about all the time. I'll still think about them things, but I don't have to action them, which is good. And me and Reds are talking all the time, which is nice. I think it's nice for him as well because he's got some, older people to be able to talk to in the team and make the right decisions with them. And that's a good thing. It's obviously it's very, very, very different to what I've been used to. There's not one person throwing orders. It's within the group and up to game. It's the boys, you sort yourselves out. Even like training, like it's that's a mental one for me, but it all makes sense. It's we start. I think we're on ice at 9:45. It's quite late, and so you go on, you do a couple of warm-up drills, and you just feed through, and then you get you going, and you sort of level. There it's 9:45. You go in 9:47. You're into the first drill, and you're flat out. There's no gentle warm-ups. It's boom, so intense, and that's how Slough play. Very aggressive, very full of energy. Don't stop moving your feet. If you stop moving your feet, we'll all bags go. But obviously trying to do that when you're cold, so it gets you in the mentality. There's no one throwing warm-ups. It's go get yourself ready and make sure you're ready to be on that ice at 9:45. I don't care if you turn up at 9:40. If you're ready and you're warm and you can go at 9:45, sweet. So it's a good one. I enjoy it.
And as you say now, hitting the over the 30 mark, that your body starts to recover slightly differently. It can take slightly longer. But you've gone into the like the heavy artillery of recovery with the heat and the cold and all the different methods now. How are they working out for you?
Good. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm just taking more precautions now, and obviously I didn't train all summer, as in ice hockey. Usually I summer skate.
You got to get wedding ready, haven't you?
Yeah, it was a busy summer, to be fair. But I did enjoy summer skating. But sometimes it's actually quite nice not to summer skate, isn't it? So other than playing the charity game that I did, that was the first time I played, and I had new skates and everything, so it was a bit of a shock. But I just think now I'm a little bit more aware because it's the first time I've been called old in the hockey team. So it's made me actually a little bit more aware that I do need to look after myself. And I'm just doing everything I can just to make sure, because, notoriously people pick up injuries, and, Solent, we picked up injuries all the time. But I think what highlighted it for me is obviously at Slough, the rink is humongous. So you're skating more, you're moving more. I'm on and off all the time, on both the special systems, PKQP, and obviously we just roll deep through. So I've noticed that the output's higher and it's a lot more intense. And I think at Solent you can sort of get round an injury, because if you've got a sore hip or a sore, hip flexor or something, or a groin, I didn't realise how compact that rink is until I see it. Because obviously now my brain's got used to Slough's place.
Yeah, it's not 3 stars, blue line to blue line there, is it? Oh,
yeah, in some games you could play at Solent and not even feel like you played a game because you haven't really moved much, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Slough, you can't. And I always remember going and playing Slough. It was horrendous for us as a team because you're just worn out. It's so big. It's humongous compared to the Solent setup. So it's just my body adapting a lot, and it's good because Smiths is constantly helping me and telling me things, because I cut short on stopping and crossovers, which because I've always had to in a small rink. So it's, he's helped me develop techniques to get more powerful in using skating techniques for the bigger rinks, which is good.
Yeah. From obviously your junior career was mainly Solent, a little bit up in Guildford. But I see there's a lone game up at Manchester Phoenix.
Yeah. Me and Mason. Well, obviously it was Solent got asked. I think that was when their team had some problems with their team.
Yeah, that was in the old EPHL, wasn't it?
Honey Ham was the coach. That was an experience. Turning up, obviously he's there in the dressing room, something that you think, Jesus, the pinnacle of British ice hockey. And he's there coaching us. But it was his. Then again, adapting to that style of play, it was, do you want to go? There's an opportunity. Do you want to go and play for them? I think it was against Bracknell. I've got a feeling. I think it was against the Bees at Bracknell before the rink shut. I've got a feeling. I'm 90% sure on that. Yeah, me and Mason went and we got paired up together, and that was an experience, because obviously that was my first taste of professional hockey.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Obviously, we didn't do a lot. It was actually quite ironic that everyone goes on about plus minuses, don't they, on like your games. And me and Mason just had the little pet talk to everyone. Like, whatever happens, we just keep it simple. We do the least as possible to make sure we don't make a mistake, and then we get off together. And how they played was literally, if you were in the defensive zone, you just slap shot the puck around the board, and the wingers would be up the high, and they'd just pick it up and then obviously forecheck on goal. And how happened, we both cleared the puck, and as we got off, they scored, and we were like, plus minus is 1. Plus 1 for the EPL game. So yeah.
There's a chance this year, obviously, that someone from our league could be going against Tony Hand, because he's with the Whitley Warriors.
Oh, really?
And obviously we're going to have the playoffs are going to be North versus South on the Sunday, so there's a real possibility there that up in wherever the finals venue is going to be, that we could be going up against the likes of Tony and the team he's got up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really exciting. As you were saying earlier about always kind of being the bridesmaid, moving on to Slough, looking at the league, looking at the playoffs. Is that something that excites you guys, the change that's happened, knowing that we could have potentially 2 playoff finals in one weekend, one for the South and then one national, and then the possibility as well of the national final for the league winning team? It's a lot of big-time hockey there to be played in the postseason.
Yeah, there is. There is. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we've thought about that too much yet. Season's literally just started. And obviously as well, you know how important it is at the moment. You could drop 3 points now and that could cost you the league.
Yeah.
Because you overlook something. And everyone does it. Everyone does it. You know, they don't prep for a game properly, or, you know, you lose an important player, or someone capitalises on something, or, you know, you get a couple of bans or something. So I'll be honest, I've not really put too much thought into that yet. The main focus is, let's focus on this league. But yeah, it's definitely exciting, and British hockey's, should say, finally maybe making some good changes and developing.
Yeah, I think it's great to see that we're going to get a lot of North versus South, because it kind of is, as a sport, it's a little bit like rugby league, where I think the North think that they own it. It's like their thing. Yeah.
The thing is, the North, they play very different, don't they?
Yeah, I've not seen a great deal of it, but it's a very different style. Yeah,
so I don't, and I've never had the opportunity of playing the North, purely because we've never won the league or the playoffs. So we've not played a North team. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, once the season was done for me, I sort of switched off from hockey, so I'm not sure how Streatham got on, but I know that, I think, from what I've been told, that they're quite physical, very physical setups. But yeah, I know the Northerners, they tend to be quite big lads, don't they? So I mean, hopefully if we can make it, we might be able to work our way around them rather than try and work through them.
Yeah, so it certainly does make it sort of exciting for the rest of the year. But so after, say, your little sort of trip out with the Manchester Phoenix, and as you said, you were captain at Solent for over 9 years. Coming on the podcast in I think it's a few weeks, it's going to be episode 123, is going to be Drew Campbell. What was it like spending all them years playing with Drew?
Mental. He's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. It's mental to think that when I went Solent, when I was in my early days in Solent, I want to say the year that we won the league, he had his twins. I'm pretty sure his twins are like 10, 12 years old now, or something.
Yeah.
And he's not changed. I mean, fair play to him. I mean, who can play hockey at his age and play it well? Because I know he's Canadian, but I mean, that doesn't just give you a God-given right to be good at ice hockey, does it? But he's so good. Like, if he got a breakaway in this league, I'd be putting my house on it. He's probably going to score a goal. You know, he's just got that knack. He skates with his skates undone. They're basically undone. I don't know how he does it. They're like not even done up. Just basically puts the laces through them. It's mad to have been alongside someone so talented so long. And he's a good laugh. He's the only player I know that can drink like 2 full crates of beer and still have a conversation. He's crazy. I would not want anyone to drink competition with Drew.
Well, was he that player for you? As you were saying, in your last couple of years, you felt like you were the one that the younger ones were looking up to. Was he that player for you at Solent?
Yeah, but it was different roles. So for me, I looked up to different people for different things. But he's very experienced. I sort of looked up to him, I'd say, in the teams, as he was the guy that you sort of relied on heavily when he was obviously playing it when he was a bit younger, because he got some serious points in this year.
Yeah.
I mean, even in his last season, he still racked up some numbers. And I don't think I want to say maybe he went like every other shift. So he wasn't even like overly playing. He's still, he's just got the knack, isn't he?
Yeah. He was the oldest player in the NHL structure last year.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, he's not even slow. Like, he's not. I think it's just maybe fatigue, just struggled with keeping up at that pace all game. And he always used to come, he used to sit down and go, I'm too old for this, man. You know, it's like, but he'd put his skates back on the next time and he'd be back. So, yeah, I don't know how on earth he managed to do it for so long because he's got about 30 kids. So
he's played on the same line with a couple, hasn't he, I think?
Yeah, I mean, his son's, I think he trains with Devils too, or he was playing with Devils too. He's just had a baby as well, so it's crazy fair play to him.
I suppose that's probably going to be the next thing in the list for you, is it not?
Oh, God. Ellie's
Is the wife?
Ellie's been hinting about it. Yeah, the now wife has been hinting about it for the last 5 years. I just said to her, I just need a break, right? We haven't stopped. Our lives have just gone from here to here. You know, bought a bungalow, knocked down, built a house. Then next thing you know, 2 years later we're getting married, and that was 2 years prep. So we've just stopped now. Now would be a good time. No, relax.
As you part of your work as well, I mentioned earlier, obviously, you and your brother both incredibly personally successful with what you've sort of chosen your field in. And where did you even go about starting that sort of thing? For anyone who don't know, I'm sure you would have seen it if you follow him on social media, that Alex is Elco Moto doing sort of tuning and repairs of some very high-end vehicles.
Yeah. Sort of started it. I was going to be an airplane pilot. That was my chosen career. Done all my A-levels. Went to Cabot University. And basically they said, passed the class 1 medical and did my 10 hours flying. And they basically said to me, you're going to have to quit your sport. You're going to have to quit your sport if you want to come into this industry because it's not something you can have your attention on anything else. And even at that point, you know, I knew ice hockey wasn't going to be my chosen career, you know, as in that's not, but I was like, I don't want to give it up. I'm not giving up. I said, well, there's not much hope for you in this industry. So I had a little think about it, and as well as having to raise a lot of funding to do that. I mean, you've got to raise like £70,000 to go and do your first 100 hours flying. And if you come back from failing that, you're out. And I just thought, no, I need to have a rethink here. What I'm going to do? And I liked cars. I liked messing around with motors. And I had a little like moped that I always used to mess around with because I couldn't afford to pay anyone to fix it. So I just thought I've got to learn to fix it myself. Obviously, then I started fixing my mates' mopeds and everything else. Obviously, then I had my car and was messing around with that. I thought maybe I should get into cars. What do I need to do? Now, obviously, now I'm very late into the game because I've gone past the college bit. I've done that. Done 2 years at college. I've now gone and done like 6 to 8 months at this, you know, uni part. So then I went back to college. Went back to college for 2 years. I think at this point I was nearly like 21, doing level 3.
Yeah.
Got out of that. Went straight into the dealer. Had a bit of a hard time with it all really because I thought if I want to be this, I want to be good at it. I don't want to be someone that's just doing oil changes every day. And I found out, I said, how I was the youngest master tech in, you know, at the time in the country, and I think it was like 28 or 9, I think. I was like, right, see if I can be a master tech before I'm 30. And at this point, you know, I hadn't even qualified from level 3 at college. So did that, passed that, went into the dealers, spent 5-6 years in the dealers. And by this point I was like 26 and I was ready to do my masters, and I'm thinking if I can get this done, it's a 3-year masters. If I can get this done, I'm going to hit 29. It should be amazing. And unfortunately they didn't put me in my training for another year, which is why the dealers started messing me around. Dealers are quite bitchy. It's like little hairdresser girls, you know, they just moan about everything. So I didn't really fit in very well, but I left there and went to an independent. He put me on master's training, and I passed it just before my 30th.
That's right.
And then obviously everyone kept saying for a long, long time, you know, you should go out on your own, and something happened and with my old place, and I thought, right, this is the time to go. So went out on my own in a little unit, sharing a unit with another guy, and it just went crazy. So bought out another company in a year, bought into another business, and that's where I am now. I need to go again. Really, I need to get out of that place and find something bigger. So it's gone a bit mental.
Yeah. I say that's kind of everything. That's all happened at once, isn't it? Of that, your house and your marriage, kind of all at the same time.
Yeah.
As well as a big move in hockey.
Yeah, I'll never forget. It's just someone said to me when I said I want to be a mouse tech, and the guy said to me, he said, excuse my language, he said, "You're shit. You'll never be a mouse tech." Right, and this is when I just started of Volkswagen, and it's stuck in my brain to this day. But I'll show you. And he's still working there. Obviously now I'm doing what I'm doing. I've had people from that workshop ask for jobs at my place as well, which is very humbling.
Yeah.
And happened so quick, you know. So I like people doubting me. You know,
is that a motivator for you?
Massive. Love it. Fires me on. So that's part of the reason, you know, when I left. So there's people that want to see me fail. There's people that want to see. I love it. It's just keeps me hungry, keeps me focused. So.
Are you looking forward to your first trip back there?
Yeah. Obviously, we played them at the weekend. It was I can't describe the feeling before, but you have a lot of emotions and a lot of energy running through your body. Didn't really know how to feel. First couple of shifts, you feel a bit shaky because you're just overthinking everything. Once you've settled in, you know, and this is where I respect Slough as one of the experienced juniors. One of the experienced seniors, but he's, you know, early 20s. He's Coley. Trust me when I say this. You're one of the best in this league. Relax. And usually, if I was a solo, I'd have said, "Who the fuck are you talking to me like that? You know, I know what I'm doing." And I looked at him and I was like, "Thanks, appreciate that." Went out, play fine, play strong. So it's just, that's what I like, that balance. Doesn't matter sometimes about your ages, you know. Always got to have your ears open and listen to people. So, yes.
Yeah. The old adage, you know, if you're talking, you're not listening.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And Joe, you could have said that yourself. 100%. So, yeah, and they're all very talented, all of them. So, you know, I'm not, you know, within reason. I don't care who talks to me, you know, and gives me advice like that, because it certainly helps. So,
yeah. That's brilliant. Well, we've had a few questions come in. A few of them we've actually covered. Justin Wilson, who's Casey Wilson's dad, who Casey's at the Oxford City Stars this year, he wanted to know why the change over to Slough, so we've covered that. And Izzy wanted to know about, were you nervous playing against Solent, and we've just kind of covered that one as well. Welly's asked, do you have any game day superstitions, and if so, what are they?
Yeah, I did. I do have a few, but I'll be honest with you, in part of my development, hockey players are obviously very superstitious. And this is where I've been helping some of the lads at Slough with, is superstitions can also make you quite weak, because if you've got to have things done in a certain order and they don't go in that order, you're then going to sit there and wonder, that game, I didn't play well because I didn't eat my porridge at 10 o'clock, I ate it at 11. So I used to be very superstitious, and Solent is a very superstitious team. It's mental. You could take those in certain orders and all sorts of stuff, right? But again, when someone's not there, it throws everyone off. And I took it this summer. I did some business development stuff, and personal development with other stuff that I do outside of work for my work, and that came up, and I thought, you know what? That's mental. That's so correct, because as a sportsman, you've got everything to focus on, the game, and we're getting worried about what superstitions we've got because we haven't tapped the right person in the warm-up and stuff like that. Yeah. I still do a little few things. I always like to go in the dressing room and tap everyone's hand. Someone new comes in, tap their hand. That's something that I do. But I feel like every team should do that. Or teammates should do that. And I do have certain warm-up superstitions. Just certain things that I do that people will probably pick up on. I like to dish the puck to people, and whoever has the puck last has to score. When they do the cycle, if it doesn't go in the net, get the park go again, as what happened against Solent. So, but yeah, there's no goalie in the goal, so you shouldn't be able to miss. But,
No. I mean, do you think then that you go on to call it more of a routine than a superstition?
yeah.
Not a negative mental impact.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, there was games that I didn't play very well and I didn't do a certain thing and I blamed it on that. That was my reason, when actually your reason is you've just not done something correct on your preparation for that game. It's nothing to do with superstition. So I have changed how I think now, thinking differently, which is helping me.
Yeah. We had one come in there. It wasn't a question, actually. I think it was from a Slough fan, from Claire Hill, who said, not a question, but he's one of the nicest people I've ever met and is already one of my son's favourite players.
Oh. Yeah, ice hockey's built on, community, isn't it? And something that I did at Solent for a very long time was I spent a lot of time with the kids, and putting a name to a face, because at the end of the day, they're spending their time watching us, so you can't always put on a good show. So it's nice when they feel the positive out of it is they've gone and watched the game and they've got to see someone that they've got a connection with. And I love the kids, man. Like, they're looking up to you like we're some sort of like superhero, and we're not. We're just normal people. So the least you can do for them is go and say hello, have a conversation with them. Did you enjoy the game? It's just basic communication skills, which is something else I've picked up since having my own business.
You were on the signing table weekend just gone, weren't you?
Yeah.
First time.
Sorry?
First time.
Yeah, it's just mad to see their faces, like. But this all goes back to the professional setup thing, And I'll hats off to Slough. They do everything right. They do everything really right. And I'm learning 55 people's names is always hard, but I'm getting there with them. But they always just seem to be organised with everything, which is good. And there's no politics, should you call it? Everything's run right, and they're massive on the kids, because you look at the way they're developed from the juniors up. You've got to set an example and role model. So yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's not to blow too much smoke up your arse, but we've sort of spoke for a long time. I've got a lot of time for you. That when we were at Ali Pally, I was talking to a few people, and you came over and you said hello, and we had a little chat before we went upstairs and did a recording. And people said to me, "How long have you two known each other?" I said, "That's the first time I've ever met him." And they said, "Man, it looked like you two had known each other for years." And I said, "So that's a mark of you as a man as well." Oh, thank you. Yeah, like I say, it's if people are in or around you, I've got so much time for positive people, and that's who I am, and that's what I bring to a dressing room. I'll do anything for anyone. People that are negative or say things behind your back, I just can't make your life. It's easier, isn't it? That way I can focus on the right things rather than the wrong things. There's a lot of that in this world which we don't need of. Yeah, I must admit, I find it quite strange actually if I go to a rink and a lot of people come up to me and sort of say nice things about the podcast, and I find it quite difficult. Yeah, because I suppose when you're interviewing like now, you're sort of in your own comfort space, aren't you? And then you're routined. Yeah, kind of, yeah. And I've always found myself that I can talk to people quite easily. I've never found it as a struggle to talk to people or to get people to open up, actually, which is a strange talent I didn't really know I had. But it certainly is a strange change for me, just going from being quite a new hockey fan over the last couple of years doing this. And it's... Yeah, but you think 5 years ago there was no podcast. I don't remember anyone doing any sort of stuff like this. But again, it's like what you're saying is, you're picking players in the league to put a name to a face, and then people get to know who you are and what you're about, which is, I think it's a great thing. I think what you're doing, and it's great for British hockey as well. Well, that's kind of my thing, because you guys, as you said there, it's about the kids and it's about the fans. And if this gets a little bit more exposure for you guys for the fans, then that's best I'm doing it. Yeah, because as cliche as it is, if they don't turn up, there isn't no hockey club. So people underestimate how important every single part of all the setups are. Even it's like things like this, because it's bringing people together. So I've got a lot of time for this as well. Whenever you say you want to have a chat,
ready, arms open. So
yeah, you've always been very generous with your time, and as you've just been there, very generous about the podcast as well. So, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you this evening. We didn't even grab a selfie in Ali Pally. You were too in the
yeah, I was zoned in.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get that done. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Really, really thank you so much for coming on. I wish you all the best for your season with Slough. There'll be a couple of times when I don't, but we'll...
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll catch up with you then.
Absolutely, mate. We'll get that to happen. Alex Cole, thank you so much, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
A massive thank you to Alex Cole. As we said there, he's one of the nicest guys I've met in this sport. He's an absolutely terrific fella, and everything he's done for Solent over the course of his career, and I'm sure what he's going to be doing for Slough in the future, as well as just having an incredibly successful life himself. He's an absolute top fella, deserves all the good stuff that comes his way. Thank you so much for listening. I really do hope that you've enjoyed that episode. It was obviously a massive joy for me to record it for you. So I really do hope you've enjoyed it. Next week's roundup episode will have all the action from this weekend's league and cup fixtures, and of course the Welsh Cup as the D-side Dragons go to the Cardiff Fire, and we see the finish of that thing from the 5-5 first leg. So we'll see the finished leg down in Cardiff. And then next week we'll be chatting to Cardiff Fire forward Danny Williams as well. So hopefully he'll be beaming from winning the Welsh Cup. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.